Howdy partners, it's me, it's B-Man the First, and with as much as I've drawn, I've had plenty of ideas. And over that time, I've had quite a few ideas for different universes, worlds, or environments and such. And I want to share some of them with you today on this video right here, right now. And so sit back, relax, and enjoy this short little descriptive video with some interesting artworks paired with it. You can find all these and more in my Discord server, so if you want, there will be a link in the description to join me and a bunch of other questionable people in my basement. A very large area of World War I trenches and no man's land is filled with a large group of people invested in a cult kick out a man of their trenches for not believing in them. This man would be killed by enemy soldiers but would not be gone for long. Brought back in a new form, a long worm-like body with 2 strong arms and a gas mask on its face, inspired by the bridge worm, this body was made by both God and Satan in an attempt to punish humanity for starting the war in the first place. The worm would not only be immortal, but also not alone, for the soldiers' comrades would be turned into different forms, but not immortal as well. That took way too long to read. Other than that tidbit of information, I don't have much. I don't really have any designs for any characters, or any even names in reality. I really just have 2 monsters, and that's about it. If you would like to suggest stuff, I'm open for suggestions, and if you take a particular liking to this one, tell me so. Post-apocalyptic world filled with monsters of demonic origins. Countries no longer exist except a few exceptions. But most of humanity lives in small towns and dilapidated cities. And although countries aren't common, companies and/or militaries owning large amounts of territory is. One of which being the currently unnamed company who builds, uses, and sells the cyber units pictured in the Bean Man art gallery. Some monsters are weak, slow, and otherwise pathetic, being more like zombies, while others are true demon-human hybrids who hunt down and eat/kill for fun/kill for territory humans. Some monsters will be pictured in the gallery, although luckily for humanity, the force that created these demons is long gone, left due to a mix of impatience and boredom, leaving the demons to make more of themselves via converting humans with machines made by the very few intelligent demons. This idea is inspired by the Fallout games to a degree. For this project, I have more ideas for what would happen, like locations and much more detailed creatures and monsters, and by far, this is probably one of my favorite ones. This is also one that I have by far the most art for. I still don't have any human characters that would be in this, because I rarely ever focus on people in anything, really. It's kind of just the monsters and the environment that I focus on, but I still have an idea on who I would want being the main character, I guess. A underwater city that's less of a city and more like a country, being the size of France. It's similar to and inspired by Rapture from BioShock. In this city, to most people it's a utopia, living their whole lives in the beautiful city and enjoying the great food and entertainment. For most people it is utopia, having no problems. but behind closed doors and for some unlucky folk, it's a dystopian nightmare. With monsters created by the city trying to make the many workers of the city, some of which pictured in my personal art gallery. These monsters kill dozens, close off entire sections of the city, and even some start cults. This one I might just have the least information about, other than just the general idea of it, other than the fact that the previously mentioned monsters, not all of them are bad. A lot of them, most of them actually, are actually workers for the city who help build and repair buildings and pretty much maintain the whole place, doing the dirty work for all the people. A upside down dimension in constant dense fog, where if you don't get caught by the upside down trees whose branches all connect into one, you'll fall and start spinning so fast the organs will come flying out your mouth and blood falls from your eyes. But if you don't fall, you can wander the muddy world only inhabited by the trees, mosses, and molds. And the many monsters who are the monsters that kids say are under the bed. Many well-known faces live here, who, unlike us, don't fall and walk around simply upside down. Faces like the Rake and the Boogeyman, and also lesser-known faces like the Pope Lick Monster. The world is almost entirely black and white. The only color this world gets is the mosses, the monsters, and their victims. Scratch the previous statement I had about the last idea. This is the one where I have the least information about. I have no idea how I'd actually turn this into a story of anything, and I don't even have any art for it. I can imagine it, but I really just could not draw it. But, so I have really nothing to say. The U3 universe is a realm with vastly different biological limitations and a magnificent life. But the almost extinct U3 parasite is what changes human history. The U3 universe was first discovered during the Second World War by the Nazis to try to gain power as the USSR became a bigger threat. The Nazis built a teleporter and adventured the gorgeous yet dangerous world of the U3 parasites. But after seeing what happened to some of the soldiers, Hitler personally forced the teleporter to be buried and sealed away. Many years later, in 2016, the teleporter would be rediscovered and reactivated, but the U3 parasite had now entered Earth's realm and created monsters beyond anything humans imagined. But it was far from a one-sided fight. The US formed both Zia and Marksman to help fight against the feral-infected individuals and help, or kill depending on who you ask, the ones who still had their human consciousnesses. This one I also have very little art for, but also is the oldest idea I've had. By far. It's multiple years old. It's probably the more fleshed out universe I've made. I've come up with probably over 50 monster designs, but I've only really drawn out 2, and then a few plants and animals of the actual U3 universe. And this is the one I'd like to see succeed the most. But, people like different things, and, people might not like this one, but, that's fine. But also, if I get questioned for this, I will do nothing. A post-apocalyptic world brought to its knees thanks to the heavily mutated humans. Not mutated from a parasite or virus, but instead by a pharmaceutical drug called calicamide, inspired by thalidomide. This drug had many variants for different purposes. The most recent variant was able to cure awful diseases/viruses/parasites like yellow fever, anthrax, Ebola, etc., but also caused massive mutations, killing the original person and replacing them with a monster. These monsters vary between starfish-like animals who use 4 human arms as a body and walk on almost 1,000 fingers, named the Homo starfish, to monsters 50 feet tall/long with 30 human legs sprouting out from the side, similar to a centipede. Although I also have no art for this one because it's quite literally a skill issue, I'm not good enough to draw what I imagine, but I also really like the idea of humans becoming monsters not being from a parasite or virus, but instead from a pharmaceutical drug. I think that's pretty creative. I haven't seen that used pretty much anywhere else, not that I know of. Although I do have a few more ideas and a metric ton of monsters that aren't in any of these and just sort of just are in their own universe, but I just haven't shown them because they're so tiny and minute, and that there's just not much to even say or show at all. So, yeah. And as I said before, there will be a link in the description to go to my Discord where you can see both all these ideas, any future ideas that I put there, and also art more commonly. You can also tell me either in the comments of this video or on my Discord, or both if you really want to, any recommendations, any ideas of your own, or just which one of these was your favorite. But other than that, I think that's about it. So if you enjoyed this video, do what you want. I don't really care, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.